We are spoilers. We are offensive content.
Well, you are.
We are two fat guys talk, Carlos and Dave. And this is episode 103, the Post-E3 podcast.
I thought we agreed. This is
I agreed to nothing.
Season 2, episode 2 now.
You agreed to the voices inside your head. I agreed to stave off insanity for another day.
You are one of the voices inside my head. You're not real.
Oh no!
Anyway, episode 2.
Episode 102. 103.
No, as everybody agrees, I am the voice of reason. Therefore, season 2, episode 2.
I'll never understand that. I'll never understand. So, regardless of how we number it, this is the Post-E3 podcast where we talk about E3 2018. Now, we saw all the presentations.
Yep.
We saw
almost all of them live.
We saw some of the presentations that weren't official E3 presentations.
Like?
Devolver Digitals and limited run games.
Just because the mainstream freaking sites weren't following. Like, I was doing the listing off of GameSpot, for example.
Uh-huh.
They mentioned Devolver there, but they didn't even give a link to where it was happening. I got that from you. It's like, guys, you're admitting this thing is happening, but you're not, because you're not hosting one, you're just not going to give a link? Fuck you!
It's doubly laughable considering Devolver had one of the biggest announcements, too, but we'll get to that when we reach the Devolver show. Well, why don't we... So how are we going to do this? Are we going to go... We're going to go through each one and talk about what we liked, disliked, and games in it?
I think we should do that.
And then do an overall E3 chat?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to say, I think this is probably the E3 I had the most fun with.
Sure, for sure.
For the past 3-4 years. I mean, I haven't had this much fun since Sony buried Microsoft for the whole Xbox One fiasco.
I enjoyed this E3 a lot more than last year's, partly because it's funny, trying to stay positive kept me positive. I didn't go into this E3 with the mission to hate everything I saw. I went into it expecting to enjoy things regardless of whether or not they were for me. And in that regard, I actually thought every presentation, even the worst one that we'll get to, had something to offer.
Well, and that's just it, is, yeah, I know I shit in a bunch of stuff. I absolutely did.
Yeah, you as I said on Twitter, you circled the wagons. You had your bow and arrow out.
I also said a great deal of positive things about a good deal of games.
And none of them were ever in a backhanded way. Oh, that game's good. I hope they don't fuck it up.
Well, it was EA.
So, let's talk about the individual ones. Might as well start with EA since they were the first one. Electronic Arts. What was of note at the EA one? There was definitely Anthem shown, although there was a bit more of it shown at, was it the Microsoft one?
Yes. Now, okay, so first and foremost, we have not forgiven or forgotten EA's Battlefront 2 nonsense with their loot boxes. I do not believe at all that they have learned from their mistakes. They are simply going to take a step back for a little bit on their games with the loot boxes, and then within a year or two, when they think people have forgotten, they will put that shit right back in. However, again, looking more on the positive side, DICE has put in a great deal of effort into Battlefront 2's DLC, and I'm this close to actually purchasing Battlefront 2 to give it a try. Because they have given me a great deal of things that I wanted in Battlefront. Now, it's still not as good as Battlefront 2 the original Battlefront 2. I mean, that had everything from space combat to landing on the ship to attacking it. I mean, we're still not where we were 8 years ago. And that's pathetic, frankly. However, I'm not going to put down DICE because, my God, Battlefront 2 looks amazing. It plays pretty well. And I don't know if you've seen any of the DLC videos for the Ewok survival mode they've got.
I saw a clip of it during the EA thing.
Well, it's playable now already. It was playable pre-E3. And
does Wicket get to bash a stormtrooper skull in?
well, not specifically Wicket, but it's downright creepy because you have the stormtroopers basically huddled in this cave, going up against waves and waves of player-controlled Ewoks, and it is downright creepy how they're doing it. Watching a group actually play it, I'm just like, all of a sudden, everything's quiet, and then all of a sudden a horn goes off, and all these little Ewoks are jumping through this cave, and DICE is doing some good work, despite EA's nonsense. But you're right, there was Anthem, there was the usual series of sports games.
They showed a couple of neat-looking indie games as well, including, good job remembering titles, Carlos.
Sea of Solitude.
Sea of Solitude, that one looked neat. I do like the idea behind it. It's not my thing. I'm going to say that a lot about a lot of the games, by the way. It's not my thing, but it is definitely a very interesting indie title.
Just for our audience, if you haven't caught on by now after the last season and now into this season of our podcast, if it's not 8-bit and old, Carlos tends to not be into it anymore.
That's about right. And it looked pretty neat, but it's not my thing, but it does look pretty neat. But of course, the announcement of the EA show has to be when they sat down with that one developer who was sitting in the audience, briefly talked about an upcoming Star Wars game that they're going to show in the next E3, and had literally no other details other than that it's a Star Wars game set between episode 3 and 4. That, to me, was the game of EA. Oh, my cynicism showing. Shit.
I do like the fact that, and this shows a little bit of how EA is scrambling right now to do more stuff with the Star Wars license, because now this was just a rumor, but it's become more and more substantiated that Disney very much went to EA and said, you stop this shit and stop hurting the license, or we're taking the license away. Because Disney can do that anytime with no financial burden. Frankly, a lot of the fans have just wanted them to pull the license anyway, because honestly, back in the days when the license was open to everybody, we got some amazing Star Wars games. Everything from strategy to the FPSs.
To side-scrolling platformers.
Yes, we did. But still, when many different companies can make the games, you get a much greater variety. The fact that EA has now gone to Rebellion and making them make a first-person / third-person style game, much like the Jedi Academy game, that's good. This is something that EA should have been doing from the get-go, but they decided to focus on one game to try and keep all the cash coming into the loot boxes. To me, that is a good move forward.
Speaking of which, Battlefield 5 was shown, although it was shown a lot more in the Xbox presentation. We got to see that there is a story mode in this game that follows a woman, and of course that means that all the nerds got very angry because they think that women didn't fight in World War II, even though they did. But more importantly, this was an E3 where we got a lot more women protagonists and non-heteronormative protagonists, and they're still in the single digits. So there's much improvement to be had there. Still, what they showed of Battlefield 5 was okay. That story mode does kind of interest me, as does it having a Battle Royale mode, because it was funny, nobody escaped mentioning Battle Royale, not even Nintendo, which is hilarious. I love the mode.
I fucking hate that.
I love the mode. I just don't like the games I don't like PUBG or Fortnite. But I love the Battle Royale mode. And I want a game that'll do it right. And definitely there were several contenders, most of whose names I forgot.
Let's see what else. Oh yeah, well, I can't talk EA this year without talking about their betrayal.
Command and Conquer?
Motherfuckers.
And they not only did they make a mobile Command and Conquer, they had the audacity to make us sit through a match of it live with commentary.
They wasted over 10 minutes on this fucking mobile game that they had the gall to call Command and Conquer. fuck you, EA. We've been asking for an actual strategy Command and Conquer game for PC for years since you motherfuckers canceled the series, and this is what you give us.
Command and Conquer Rivals is what it was called. And the Jedi game that I was talking about that they just blatantly mentioned was Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which is being developed by Respawn Entertainment.
Respawn, not Rebellion.
So, do we have more to say about the EA conference? The EA presentation,
Well,
I should say. There's not really a conference.
Honestly, Anthem is...
Did you call it Athens? You were going to call it Athens.
Anthem interests me, but I'm worried it's going to become another Destiny. Now, one of the guys that I saw tweeting during the conference mentioned that a lot of the stuff they were showing us seemed like it had tunnel syndrome. Very much like Final Fantasy 13 with you're in the tunnel. You cannot leave the tunnel. Kind of thing. And
the hallway.
The hallway, yes, the hallway. I forgot what the actual term was. Yeah, you do not leave the hallway, and that seemed very much how Anthem was looking, and that's Destiny in a nutshell. You go into a building somewhere, or you go into a path, and there is no getting off the hallway. You are going down the hallway until you get to the boss and end it. I want a little bit more from my MMOs now, please.
Anthem did look pretty cool to me. I did like that it was kind of like Phantasy Star Online, but you get to have interchangeable mech suits with roles.
That was a good thing.
The reason I say it's more like Phantasy Star Online is because they want to focus on making it solo and multiplayer, which to me means not so much an MMO, more like a Diablo or a Phantasy Star Online.
Yeah.
And I do like that they can all fly and you get to go underwater, and I love that the environments are very cliffy. Like, there's loads of sheer cliffs and greenery and lots of water. It's a very neat world, and I do want to try Anthem.
I do, but I doubt I'm a day one purchaser on this one. I still play Destiny on occasion, but that's mostly because my brother-in-law plays it with me.
Why do you hurt yourself like this, Dave? You literally just mentioned why.
For that one reason, I stick around.
Next presentation was...
So the next one was Microsoft, and I went into the Microsoft conference basically saying, put up or shut up.
They put up! It was wall-to-wall games. It's such a shame that Microsoft, at the beginning of the Xbox One, just pissed away all their goodwill.
Yeah.
And have been basically apologizing ever since. And holy shit, it was just game. There was very little downtime. My only beef with their presentation is that, and this was a gripe I had with all of them except some of the PC one and Nintendo, is that there's a lot of future dystopia games. A lot of, the future is grim. Here's a game in it. The future is grim.
Well,
here's a different game in it. The future is grim. Devil May Cry 5. Now that was cool, but we'll get to that in a moment.
But look at how the US is right now. Not that over half the country's not very positive right now. So you build your games to what is popular right now, and under a Trump government, yeah, the future is not bright.
What's funny about Microsoft, what is ballsy of them, is that most of the games they announced are third-party games that they basically provided a showcase for. Their message was, these will play best on our system, so we're not afraid to show them. So, just for that alone, they made their show the E3 show to watch, pretty much.
Well,
and, of course, we got loads and loads of games. We should probably talk about the Microsoft exclusive ones, though. Halo Infinite got a very brief teaser.
Yeah.
Don't really know much about it other than that. At first, it kind of looked like this wild kind of Monster Hunter-y thing, or Zelda even, and then Halo. And then there...
On Halo, though. I mean, it was a teaser, but for like the first if it was 60 seconds long for the first 45 seconds, you couldn't tell what the fuck series it was going to be. So I actually tweeted, is this a tech demo? Are they going to tell me to turn off my cell phone in a moment? Because
a car could have been driven by it. It could have been Chevrolet.
Exactly. Ford. It's just... It didn't even have any of the usual Halo music or anything else. It was just, what the fuck is this? And then, of course, Master Chief with his helmet off. Didn't show us his face, of course.
I was secretly hoping that he was going to be holding an envelope with the Smash seal on it.
That would have been good. That would have been good.
The other exclusives were shown more towards the end of the show, and that's Gears of War, following with the surprise reveal of a Funko Pop Gears game, which is neat, but also kind of meh, because I hear a lot of shady shit about Funko Pop. But still kind of a neat idea for a game. Gears Tactics, a PC-only kind of tactics game.
Yeah.
And then Gears 5, where Kate has taken over as the protagonist, a role she should have had in Gears 4, because JD is about as interesting as paper. I'm always excited for a new Gears game.
I mean, I'm still pissed off that Crackdown 3 is pushed back until 2019.
Oh, there's Crackdown as well.
But Microsoft...
It doesn't look good.
It doesn't.
It looks kind of shitty.
Yeah.
And I know Crackdown has never looked great, and that was never the appeal of Crackdown, but it does not look good.
I know. No wonder they pushed it back. However, just to mention this, the biggest thing that has held back Microsoft this console generation is, number one, because they killed a lot of the interest in it with their launch.
Yep.
Keeping the fucking their one peripheral on there mandatory for the first
the Kinect and
the Kinect.
The first presentation being not about games at all and being very antagonistic with their player base.
They spent. I go back and I watch the two conferences every now and then just because I laugh at it, because Microsoft focused on a TV service that wasn't even available outside the US. They didn't focus on any of the games, and then they said, oh, it's always online, you must have the Kinect, and you can't trade or borrow games to your friends. Wow. The way Sony took them apart was awesome, but this whole generation, all the games people were looking forward to have ended up canceled. Scalebound was one of the big ones that people were looking forward to, and then there's like, no, fuck it, we've canceled it.
Maybe they'll get Ninja Theory to make Scalebound now that they own Ninja Theory.
And they've done that.
That is said with an eye roll, by the way.
Yeah. But they've done that over and over again this console generation, where they haven't had any worthwhile first party games. I mean, by this point in the Xbox 360, I had like 20, 30 games easy. I've got 4.
For Xbox One.
Yeah, I'm not counting all the free ones they've given me, by the way. I've bought 4 fucking games for the Xbox One, and I kind of wish I didn't buy an Xbox One.
I kind of go into this... I want Microsoft to wow me, because I was a big Xbox 360 fan. Yep. I want the Xbox One to be good in the marketplace, because I don't want every console worth buying to be a Japanese one. I really don't. But at the same time, like, what can you do? They've committed to offering a lot of these offers also on Windows 10, so fine. This is kind of an Xbox and Windows 10 E3 showcase.
Yeah.
And I like that they showed me all these neat games. Not sure how many of them I'm going to be playing on an Xbox One. Probably very few of them beyond Gears 5. Although, you know, we shouldn't berate them, though. To me, the Xbox show was the second best of the entire E3. It would have been the best if it wasn't for Devolver's. And even then, this is a close second, because we got so many cool looks. We got to see Cuphead DLC. We got to see fucking Kingdom Hearts 3 being played, actually played, in action, and not just little teasers. We got to see Devil May Cry 5. Finally, in what is one of my top 2 teasers of the fucking E3, was Devil May Cry 5 showing a new showing Nero, teasing that in the timeline it might take place after 2, showing Nero just kicking ass, showing Nero's awesome new sidekick, Nico, who I immediately fell in love with.
I got to tease you and everybody else with the whole Dante thing, even though I knew it wasn't Dante.
Okay, you were teasing. So there's so many people, Devil May Cry superfans, who, when Ninja Theory's DMC came out, an okay game at best, they're like, oh fuck, I hate this guy Dante, who saw the Devil May Cry 5 trailer, saw the short-haired Nero, and were like, oh no, Dante's back. As if this wasn't clearly Nero, voiced by Nero's voice, John Young Bosch. But fuck, that teaser was so good. I found somebody uploaded the song in it to YouTube. I have it in my favorites. Fucking, I listen to that shit when I drive to work and it pumps me up for the day. Fucking Devil May Cry 5 looks so good. It's making me want to go back and play through my HD collection. Like, I am so excited for Devil May Cry 5. I'm so excited we got to see it in such amazing fashion. Super hype for that trailer. And I was not hyped for all of the Xbox trailers that way, but it was a solid 2 hours of, at the worst, games that maybe I wouldn't be interested in, but that I didn't mind sitting through.
They showed you your favorite pirate game, Sea of Thieves.
Oh yeah, Sea of Thieves expansions. Buy these expansions to our shitty pirate game with the most amazing water effects you'll ever see in your life.
Well, I've actually seen a game now that actually has better water effects. But
okay, sure. But I mean...
but okay, so a number of the titles that they had there that I personally didn't really care about, but are still interesting. Microsoft bought 5 studios to start bringing games back onto the Xbox.
And one of them is Ninja Theory, which is probably a good purchase.
You know something?
I make fun of Ninja Theory, but they've done some good work. So
they have. They bought the studio behind We Happy Few.
Yeah, am I the only one who saw the We Happy Few trailer and thought, oh, they're making a sequel to We Happy Few? And then realized at the end, oh, wait a minute, this game isn't even out yet.
Yep.
This is the first game, it's not even out yet.
Well, they went the route of, because it's a small studio. It's like 15 people.
Sure. Cuphead did take 15 bazillion years to get made, right? So
it's been in early access for a year and a bit, as they have completely revamped what they originally were doing. Now, this We Happy Few will be on all the systems. The next game from them won't be, obviously, seeing as Xbox.
Yeah.
Now, I only care about the PC when it comes to that, so I'm still happy. But We Happy Few, that's probably a good investment for Microsoft. That group. Ninja Theory, probably a good purchase. What else, Microsoft? Oh! We gotta talk about Vesperia.
What the fuck is Tales of Vesperia doing? Wasting my precious time in this fucking otherwise neat showcase of games.
You know why it was
Tales of Vesperia is one of the worst Tales games.
Not the worst, though.
It's not the worst. But it is one of the worst. It plays like garbage. Its multiplayer's crap. It didn't look very good on release, and it still looks bad in the re-release. Its story sucks. It has good characters who are begging to be in a better game. Yeah. What the fuck is this shit getting on the on the stage for, and not part of a quick indie reel like it belongs?
So the reason why it was there is because that is the only Tales game that Microsoft has the rights to actually have on its system, because they paid a mint to have it available on the Xbox 360 back when they were trying to fool people that they were bringing RPGs to their system. So yeah, they have it there because I guess they actually paid for a HD upgrade to it so that the Xbox One would have one RPG outside of Final Fantasy.
What they should have done is see if they could kind of co-opt and co-produce a sequel to that game. That might have been neat. Not the original.
Yeah. No, when it went on there and it's all Animu and everything else, I couldn't help but laugh. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Vesperia. Yeah.
Those characters needed to be in a better game.
Division 2. Now, I'll give Division 2 one thing for this year. The fact that they're doing the whole dystopian government and everything else.
Like everything was.
Like everything, but this one was a little bit more pointed towards the current government. So I'll give them that. What else?
We saw more of the Battlefield 2 campaign in this, and some of Anthem, I think.
Waking and Children of Morta were indies that I was interested in looking at. Tomb Raider looked great.
Oh, they showed Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, the From Software one.
Yes.
That was kind of neat.
That actually looked neat, and it's not a Dark Souls game.
I like Dark Souls games, so it would have mattered. And
let's talk about the really lame game that was announced. That, freaking Jumping Fast Animu Fighter.
Jump Force?
Yes.
You shut your fucking face. There were
Name.
I saw Monkey D. Luffy standing on an American flagpole, ready to save America from Frieza, and I was like, what? And then I saw Naruto about to attack Frieza and save the White House, and I'm like, pardon? That trailer was hilarious. It was like, they're like, okay, let's make a Marvel Cinematic Universe version of Jump Heroes.
I'm sure that trailer was probably the best that game's going to be.
Oh, no doubt. I'm just saying the trailer was cool. The teaser was neat and completely out of left field.
And had Light Yagami.
He's apparently not playable. He's apparently part of the story mode.
Oh, okay.
Because imagine playing as Light Yagami being like, Goku.
I don't think that would work.
I think it would work. Goku's proven that he's susceptible to heart attacks.
Dying Light 2 is a game I'm actually looking forward to now.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to say Matt. I'm being positive. Tell me more.
You're not much of a shooter. I'm sorry, person, but what impressed me...
Yes, I am. Just the
Doom.
Just the good ones is all.
Yeah, but
which are so few.
Your opinion is so poor when it comes to shooters.
Your opinion can lick my entire butt.
Nancy, cancel me next week.
Because I'm willingly going to lick his butt. Continue.
What made me interested as far as Dying Light 2 goes, though, is they actually showed that your decisions had consequences and how it actually evolved the world on the fly. I thought that was neat, how they were showing that. So I'm all for a game that I can play through multiple times like that, make different decisions, and make the game either much darker or much better for the world. So I thought that was impressive, and I'm going to keep my eyes on that. Another game I'm keeping my eyes on, fucking Battletoads.
There was the slightest teaser. I said this was Microsoft's savior before the show, if you remember.
Yes.
AAA awesome-looking Battletoads. We did not get my prediction. We instead got a very brief hint of a trailer at a 2.5D Battletoads that they're promising will be awesome. Caveat, all game developers promise their games will be awesome.
I know, but it's neat that they're going back and they're doing their Battletoads. We'll see what they manage to pull off.
Well, yes, we will. I just wanted to see more of it, was all.
Just Cause 4, just because.
Funny guy. Let's wrap this up by talking about the presentation they ended with. They ended the presentation, Cyberpunk 2077 by CD Projekt Red.
Which is the first we've actually seen of it.
Looks like a pretty decent game. I just hope that, I hope there's a lot of freaky mutant people up for some serious pansexual times. Because if it's safe cyberpunk, fuck that shit. If it's like cyberpunk viewed through the lens of cisgender white men, no thank you.
You never played The Witcher. I have
I've seen enough of The Witcher to know that Cyberpunk 2077 is probably in good hands. Yeah. I still have my concerns.
Well, they've already said that you make your own character, so you can male, female, whatever.
Can I make a character made entirely of dicks?
Probably not.
Can I make a character who has a dick for an arm? Same question, leg.
You're just being a real dick today, aren't you?
I want to make a character made entirely of penises.
That's not cyberpunk.
So I want to make mush and poo, basically.
That's fetish 2099.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I thought this game was.
I'll leave my Fallout stuff for the next one. Ultimately, Microsoft had an amazing show. They showed off the exclusives. Some of them I'm very sure are timed exclusives based on the companies involved. But Microsoft did a little bit of wordplay on there. It was exclusive, system exclusive.
Console launch exclusive. World premiere.
Well, world premiere just meant that it could be on any system.
Timeline exclusive. So it's an exclusive in this timeline, but in other timelines it came out on PS4.
There you go. But that was the Xbox show, and good job.
Yeah, 2 hours of good, I think. Definitely a lot of fun. The next one was Bethesda, right?
Yep.
So, Bethesda. Oh, Bethesda. Okay. I'm not going to crap on Bethesda, even though I enjoyed the presentation more last year because it was short and sweet. And this one had a lot of talking and bands. I will admit, I did fall asleep a little bit. Like, I was on my couch watching it, conking in and out of consciousness. Until, what game was it that they showed that woke me up?
Oh, come on.
No, I'm not saying this to shit on Bethesda. I really was really sleepy, and I'm like...
Well, the game that probably would have woken you up is Doom 2.
Yeah, Doom Eternal. Eternal. When Doom Eternal got announced, I'm like, yeah, show me more, QuakeCon. Oh, good, that means it's going to be a private-only showing that is not going to leak. Great.
Actually, based on the Doom 2016, QuakeCon stuff was public during the show.
I would have preferred they showed me now.
I know, but they may just have needed a little more time.
Sure.
That cinematic they showed for it was exactly what I wanted. I wanted they've made it to Earth.
They showed Rage 2, which I have nothing against Rage. I also do not care at all about Rage.
So, Rage 2's trailer / gameplay made me instantly install Rage 1, and I've already finished it waiting for Rage 2. Rage was a good shooter. I liked it. It had car mechanics. It had the neat guns with the shooting. The story was decent. I had no problem with Rage.
We got the next Wolfenstein game, Young Blood, and you get to control BJ Blazkowicz's twin daughters in an alternate 1980s. As a fan of the 80s and of female protagonists and of Wolfenstein, I approve of all of these things.
Yes.
Fallout 76 confirmed your suspicions, and you are now very angry about it and are about to opine on why you're so angry.
Okay, so more information has come out since E3. I'm still angry at it, but not as angry as I was during the presentation. Number one, I can run my own session of it with no other players if I want.
No assholes who are launching nukes at you for fun.
Yeah, like...
Carlos.
Well, no. That's just it. If you're going to have a game where I get to build my own town wherever I want, everything else, last thing I want is some douchebag joining my session, fighting his way to a nuke launch code, and then blowing my shit up. That does not exactly define fun to me. This isn't a battle royale game.
I kind of want to invade your game and launch a nuke at you.
Of course you do.
I'll be like, launching nukes at Dave. Gonna launch some nukes at Dave. I'm gonna launch some nice nukes. Dave's gonna like these new nukes. And what song am I doing? YMCA?
Anyway, I'm very sure that Bethesda's not going to be able to pull off the online component of this. I mean, they can't pull off offline mode in the first 6 months to a year after it releases. And mods are half the reason why these games... No. The only reason these games stay relevant for as long as they are the modders. So what do? they release a game that can't be modded.
I mean,
Also, how long until they take down their servers?
yeah, I mean, what do you do, right? It would have been better if it was a single-player game with an online component that was optional, like Demon Souls or Dark Souls or something.
Yeah, like, if I want to run my own game and invite a friend into it to play together, like co-op, do that. Don't do some online piece of shit where, like, the thing that turned me off immediately when they're talking, they're like, oh, well, you can do this solo if you want. It's like, okay, fine. And then they're like, but there's no NPCs out in the world. Every person you run into that may not be trying to kill you is another human. I'm like, okay, I'm out. So you're telling me it has a storyline, but there's no NPCs out in the world. NPCs in these games are how the story gets told. They're the ones who give you the quest, who you trade with, and everything else. It's like, come on, guys. You're making... What are you making here, really? But I want to get away from Fallout here.
I kind of want to play Skyrim for the Amazon Echo. That looks like my kind of game.
Of course it does.
I do like that they're very self-aware about the fact that they've released Skyrim on everything.
You know what's even better? They weren't joking.
Yeah, sure. I have no doubt that this is a thing that exists. They did tease the new Elder Scrolls. And
by tease, you mean had a scrolling landscape that meant nothing to anybody.
Dave, I'm trying to be positive, so this is what I have to say about the new Elder Scrolls. I am certain that it will be a title.
We have to give Bethesda a huge call and a huge 2 thumbs up for one very big thing.
Fuck Nazis.
They said, fuck Nazis, not once, not twice, but thrice.
Yeah, Bethesda does get a lot of props for just going, fuck Nazis. And we will echo those sentiments. If you're a Nazi, fuck you.
Yeah.
Go, fucking, this is not the show for you. Don't try to send us voicemail. Don't leave a comment. We're gonna make fun of your Nazi ass.
I mean, when they say it for the first time, they're like, yeah, that's something that needs to be said in this year. And it's like, yes, it is. Fuck Nazis. Other little games that they had done. There was the expansion content as well as a VR expansion content for Prey. That means something to me because I actually liked Prey. Prey was a very interesting shooter that they had made. Oh, what else did they do? Prey. I know I'm forgetting something. Oh yeah, Quake Champions. Moving on. Let's move on to Digital Devolver.
Devolver Digital. Literally, the only thing you had to do was say their name right. You're fired. So, Devolver Digital, just like last year, had easily the best show of E3. Devolver Digital has some balls to not only continue doing these hilarious, obscenely violent E3 shows, E3 counter shows is what they really are.
Yeah.
But they serialized it, and it continues the story of last year's and leads to 2019's. Nina Struthers is dead again. Murdered by the man who lost his arm last year.
And they're turning into RoboCop in scenes.
Yeah. Nina Struthers did flamethrower the shit out of a guy who said GIF, as said the acronym was pronounced GIF, not GIF.
Yep.
Nina Struthers, did you see her face when she's like, our newest product? Loot boxes. Did you see her face when she said that? I have never been more aroused and frightened in my life when I saw her face. Loot box coin is a real thing.
I know.
The price changes every hour on the hour.
I saw that.
I'm waiting for them to get to like the $2 range so I can buy one for nothing.
But their website, when they did that, just like when
it came crashing down.
When Bethesda did their whole, you can download this game now or sign up for this beta.
Mm-hmm.
They basically DDoSed their own site.
Basically. Last year, Devolver announced a few games that were okay. Some indie games, a Serious Sam indie game, and a couple other things. This year, they announced 3 games that all actually were a big deal. Some survival game called Scum, which I never really heard about it, but I guess it has a pretty dedicated following. My Friend Pedro, which looks pretty interesting
Yep.
little indie shooter. And they saved the biggest announcement for last. A full re-release, remaster, to finally be released out west of Metal Wolf Chaos, called Metal Wolf Chaos XD. And that is huge because that game is fully voice acted in English, but only released in Japan on Xbox 360, no less. I don't know if you've ever seen Best Friends play it.
That's where I remember. I even mentioned at the time that think I have seen this reviewed. I did because we watched a little bit of the Best Friends play it.
That game's dialogue is
awesome.
So amazing. It's like, Mr. President, you have to meet with the Japanese embassy. I can't. Tell them I won't make it because I'm saving America.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a big fan of the fact that the URL they chose was called Make America Great Again.
They've caught a lot of flack for that.
We should not be celebrating Donald Trump or anything Donald Trump does or personifies or popularizes because he's a monster and people who voted for him are really stupid. But regardless, Metal Wolf Chaos XD was a huge announcement. Mm-hmm. Like, I had my hands on my head when I'm like, holy shit, did they fucking just do this? Like, that's one of the announcements of E3, and it technically wasn't even a part of E3.
Yeah.
And then Nina Struthers got herself killed.
Yep.
A great presentation by Devolver Digital. Do you have more to say on them?
Nope. It was great. We had 3 deaths, not counting hers. Or she killed 3 people, rather. And that was
including her own son. Ordered the murder of her own son.
Well, her son did talk back.
Yeah, he was ever right to. It was a painted over Sega Dreamcast.
You don't talk back to Mummy.
I don't know. I kind of want a Devolver Digital Classic Edition console.
No, it was great, and I'm glad I stayed up for it.
Yeah, it was a good one. It was a good one, and I had a lot of fun watching it. Just like I had a lot of fun last year watching their presentation.
Yeah. Next one was Square.
Oh, let's talk about tepid, disappointing presentations. Not the worst of the show, and there was still cool shit to see. But am I the only one who was disappointed by Square's showcase? I was hoping for at least one surprise announcement that I hadn't seen in one of the other presentations.
Yeah, look, I got to see more of games I'm already looking forward to. The next Tomb Raider, which is coming out in September. Dragon Quest XI, again, September. New game, Babylon's Fall. Looks very Final Fantasy-ish.
Is that the one that Platinum's doing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Platinum game, so it's going to control beautifully.
It will have at least that going for it.
Yes. Final Fantasy XIV continues to impress me. Octopath Traveler on the Switch. Looks neat. It might be a game I actually get. Kingdom Hearts 3, they showed off more during their presentation. I mean, Kingdom Hearts 3, the trailer actually helped this year. Because I went from being, I might get this, to I'm getting it.
Yeah, I want to play it too, but I'm probably going to Let's Play it with Kiki as my second. I'm going to make fun of that game's shitty plot all fucking time. Because here's what... The Kingdom Hearts 3 got shown at least 3 times this E3. Microsoft, Sony's, and here. And all 3 times I thought the same thing. Oh, sweet new Disney worlds. Oh, sweet cool interactions with Disney heroes and villains. Here come Tetsuya Nomura's shitty original villains. Oh, look, Organization 13 is still not dead. Oh, no, Xehanort. Oh, my God, this is terrible. Where's Maleficent? Why aren't the Disney villains the villains? They are so much better than whatever exists in Tetsuya Nomura's dumb imagination. But, to keep things positive, very, very nice visuals.
Ubisoft.
I will admit that a lot of what Ubisoft showed is not really stuff for me. The stuff they showed for Beyond Good and Evil 2 looks pretty neat.
But it's just another partial cinematic that doesn't tell us diddly squat. The fact that this game is a prequel already bugs me.
I'm not a fan of prequels in general, especially when that prequel took like 18 bazillion years to come out. I think it's a great idea, and I'm also really bothered by the fact that they're basically putting out commission to feature people's original art and music and lyrics in the game by fucking, what's that guy's face? That actor who came out. He was on stage. Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Okay.
The guy who played Indy's son in Indiana Jones 4.
You mean Shia LaBeouf, who is Indiana Jones' son in Part 4?
It's Shia LaBeouf.
Whatever.
And yes, you're right. Clearly, I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Shia LaBeouf are the same person. Now, let's be fair. Have you ever seen the two of them in the same room together?
No, because they work on very different projects.
So, I'm a little worried that Beyond Good and Evil 2 is basically saying, hey, we'll feature your shit for what is no doubt absolutely no compensation. On the other hand, I like the exposure that's going to offer, but exposure, as we all know, does not feed people or pay off rents.
Yeah.
So I'm a little concerned about that. They showed more for Mario Rabbids Kingdom Adventure, whatever the fuck that game's called. Donkey Kong Adventure. Yeah, the Donkey Kong expansion, or whatever it's called. That's neat, I guess. I was kind of hoping for some other weird. You know what I was hoping for? My big out of left field prediction that Ubisoft was going to do the next Mario and Luigi RPG, and that we were going to see it here. That would have been pretty fucking neat. Until
they told me that it was an expansion to the Rabbids tactical game, I was hoping that was actually a full featured Donkey Kong game.
The Rayman devs could probably do some wonders with Donkey Kong.
I think they could. Rayman's not. They're not bad games. They're just overly long.
Yeah, they're okay.
They outstay their welcomes with what they do.
There was way worse platformers than the Rayman games. Yeah. Let's say that much.
Games that I was really impressed with until they said certain things. Skull and Bones.
The pirate game,
which is using the mechanics from Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag.
Yeah, and you're a big fan of that.
And everybody's been telling Ubisoft, give me a single-player game outside of the Assassin's Creed stuff where I can be a fucking pirate and blow shit up. So Ubisoft's like, sure, we'll give that to you. Shared universe. Online. And I'm out. It looks beautiful. The gunplay is great. But I do not want a shared fucking world. I want a single-player experience. Give me a story where I can play a pirate.
I don't want people to touch my shit.
I don't want to have to rely on people to come and help bail me out as they're laughing and then blow me up.
I still insist the best pirate game to this day is Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Conquest.
God, you suck.
It is the best pirate game.
No, it's not.
Easily the best pirate game. They showed Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and we can make a female Spartan who fucks women. That totally existed in that era, despite what angry alpha nerds think. That game actually, I don't know, I kind of dig it.
Oh no,
I was looking at it, I'm kind of like, I don't really want to play an Assassin's Creed game, but I kind of want to play this Assassin's Creed game.
But they did away with all the Assassin's Creed isms that made me annoyed at the Assassin's Creed games. Like, you're not going to be zapping out or being taken out of the Grecian world that you're in to talk with your main character and do shit. You are permanently in this world. There's no zap out. There's no any of that stuff. You are living this life. And as we learned back in frickin' even elementary up here in Canada, we learned in grade 3 or 4 when we took the module about homosexuality in Greece and Rome. Men and women screwing the same sex.
Non-heterosexuality has been around since the dawn of humanity.
Yeah.
As has transgender people and all these things that people are saying are just recent.
The reason why I point that out, that we learned that in grade 4, that would have been around what? Early to mid 80s?
Sure.
We learned that up here and how history has been full of it.
Even at that age, there were certain people I did not tell that to, that we learned that. Even at that age, I knew I better keep this to myself.
Yeah, but still, it was there. Just like if there were women in World War II fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Grow the fuck up. This game looks amazing. You make choices to work with different factions. It changes how the politics are happening in Greece. I am totally supporting this.
I also kind of hope that you can. There's some kind of discus system. It is Greece.
Yeah. Hey, I would be totally up for this.
But yeah, that was pretty neat. That was pretty neat. The same day as the Ubisoft event, there was another non-official presentation that I don't think you saw, but I did.
What's that?
I won't talk about it very long. It was by Limited Run Games, and I didn't even know who they were. So I watched them, and their presentation was cute. Their presentation was all like fake CG audience members, and they were obviously plastered on a green screen. It wasn't as funny as Devolver's. It wasn't trying to be, though. What Limited Run Games do is they make limited run physical editions for certain games, right? And it was kind of neat. They were talking a bit on the pre-show about what game they wanted to make a limited run of a physical copy. And they all said Phantasy Star Online 2, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
Because they all want to bring it out in English. And it was basically them talking about the physical releases and, in some cases, digital releases of games on new platforms, like Dust and Elysian Tale to Switch, for example, and other games of that ilk. So there was nothing really groundbreaking announced. It was a cute little presentation, nothing really to write home about.
Well, and something I know about Limited Run Games is they've actually had a recent challenge. It used to be that on PlayStation, an indie game didn't need to get rated by the ESRB to bring out the Limited Run games. They've recently changed it that they do have to go through the certification now for the physical games. So now it's way more expensive. So now they've had to actually tone back a number of the games that they wanted to bring out because it's just not worth it.
It's funny how useless the ESRB has turned out to be, hasn't it?
Well, like the UN.
That's funny and politically relevant.
So yeah, I'm glad to hear that Limited Run Games hasn't completely gone into hiding and are still doing stuff, because I see in some of my trade groups off of Facebook for local stuff, Limited Run games being sold after they're done with them. I'm like, what? That game got a physical release? That game and then I'm like, oh wait, there's a little logo for Limited Run games. So I'm glad to see it's happening, especially in the case of Switch. I mean, I don't want all my games to be digital, as nice as that is, because, I mean, there's not all that much memory. You have to do expansion for Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Some people just like physical games.
No, I get that. Weird as it is, I get it.
Next one was the PC Gaming E3 show, and this show has come a long way from that first year they did it.
I missed a big chunk of it because I was driving at the time and had other things going on, so I had to catch up at the end. Yeah, it's always nice to see PC Gamer do something right for a change, because PC Gamer is hot garbage, and I'm not just saying that because they recently banned me from their comments for making fun of commenters upset about EA telling people that if they don't like women in Battlefield 5, they can fuck right off. They banned my comments for calling those people, wastes of oxygen and should have been throat babies, but didn't ban their comments for being really racy and being like, well, fine, then I just won't spend my money. I don't want to play as women in my games. So fuck PC Gamer. But hey, they put on a competent show. So, kudos. Take baby steps, PC Gamer, towards being relevant and cool. Bitterness out of the way. I saw some neat shit there. And I saw a lot of boring shit there. And this thing lasted for 2 fucking hours. I was hoping it was going to last for half an hour so that I could have done my driving after, but then I'm like, shit, I got to leave and be on the road.
Yeah, like, games that stood out to me was Man-Eater Game. It's a single-player shark game. It's an RPG, and you actually have skill trees where you're upgrading your shark and going after the humans and everything else. It looked really neat, actually. There hasn't been a good shark game since the Jaws game back on PlayStation 2.
There hasn't been a good shark game since is not a statement I was ever expecting to hear in my life.
Well, the Jaws game was very much, you're playing as Jaws, and your whole thing is eating humans and staying alive.
I think we've been on the shark topic too long. No, really, I think actually we don't need to go through the Jaws game. I'm sorry, Dave. It's not necessary. Talk about the new shark game.
There's not much more to say about that.
Sega announced some stuff there, didn't they? Or was it re-releases?
Re-releases.
Okay.
I was really hoping for Skies of Arcadia.
That would be a nice thing to see on PC. Especially because maybe we could get the GameCube version, but with the Dreamcast music.
Yeah. Or just an HD remake of the original.
I'd be okay with that too.
Yeah, there were a lot of games they showed off, but there wasn't really much that was noteworthy. That was like, ooh, I want to play this. Many of your games was a big one. There was also this one really funny. It was a battle royale game called Rapture Rejects.
Yeah, that's the one based off the Cyanide and Happiness characters.
Yes.
Yes, so that was one of the battle royale games they showed, a 2D one, which I think was hilarious. That teaser was amazingly funny. I saw that teaser after the fact, and hilarious. I was told it was one of the few times people at the presentation actually laughed out loud. And yeah, I love that. It's like knocking his wife down, get off me, and then he's no longer accepted. You mentioned it in your tweet, but I never found which game this was, so maybe you can tell me. A fantasy battle royale? Do you remember what that game was called? Because I was looking for it, and I'm like, because, again, I love the genre. I just have not liked the games. The games that are part of it have not felt very good to me.
Oh, boy. No, I don't remember, but it actually looked neat because it was...
I should point out, most of these Battle Royale games let you play doubles. As in, you and I could be a team together, communicate only with each other, and try to win.
Yep. No, and that's good. I play single-player Fortnite, or, not single-player, online Fortnite every now and then just to have some fun. I don't play it seriously, but I have fun with it. I'm one of the players that people hate the most. I get myself a half-decent shotgun or sniper rifle, I hide in the bush, and I ambush you.
Yeah, you're supposed to win, right?
You're supposed to win?
Do you know what we call brave players in those games? Dead players.
I'm not very good at making the whole walls and everything else, which is why I usually don't make it to number one.
Yeah, that's why I kind of stopped playing. And PUBG doesn't have that, but it doesn't control great. I don't like how it feels.
PUBG just isn't great anyway.
Plus, its developer is a bit of a stupid cock trying to copyright this whole genre that he didn't even fucking invent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I've made it, the highest rank I've made in Fortnite is second, without any building bullshit. People just tend to hate the sneaky hiding people.
There's a recent episode of Game Grumps where they played the mobile PUBG.
Ugh.
And Aaron actually managed to win on that one. And
wow.
He was getting so nervous. He's like, oh my god, I made it second, because he got in a lucky snipe, and then they were getting so tense, they're like, oh my god, we're only 2 people left, and they're just sneaking around the bush, and after a tense few minutes, the other guy dropped, and he won.
Nice! I like seeing people make videos of them in pub.
It's a fun game to watch being on Twitch, it really is.
Exactly, but...
I would like to play doubles with you in one of these games.
Sure.
Because you and I make a good team, even though we are at each other's throats oftentimes. Players who've played against us in video games as a team can attest to the fact that we make a good team.
Yep.
Because we hate each other so much, we know each other. We're like Triple H and The Rock. PC Gaming Show. Okay, showcase. What's next?
The one game that I did like there they had and gave it some time was the 2-point hospital sim. Much like the Sim Hospital game back in the old days.
There was a Sim Hospital?
Yes.
There's a Sim Everything, Carlos. Why does this surprise you?
And they were having lots of fun with it because they made up all kinds of fake diseases that you had to treat and diagnose and everything else. Like one where literally your head got sucked into your neck and all you see of the characters are walking around with just their neck showing.
This sounds frightening. Man, they had a lot of fun making up fake, horrible diseases. Like the one that turns you inside out.
Okay, maybe you might feel horrified of that, but the what they were showing off, they're actually maybe like, I might just play this game.
Oh, like that one fun disease where your skeleton bursts out of your body and attacks the nearest thing.
Hey.
Like at the beginning of The Wishmaster, that fun movie. The Wishmaster was a pretty fun movie, but
It
still,
was.
the point...
Still, I'm glad they're not just doing a serious take on diseases and everything else.
Finally, where's the fun in diseases?
Next would be Sony.
They actually had the fucking audacity to sit people down at one location, waste their time with a banjo solo, show some admittedly cool shit about The Last of Us Part 2, including Canon Yuri girl fucking Ellie kissing someone and murdering a lot of people, and then as everyone was forced to get up and move to another fucking station to see the next game.
For 20 minutes.
Do what was effectively a lamer pre-show for 20 minutes. And then at the new location, they had to sit there and have some guy play a flute, sometimes poorly, and then we saw some of Sekiro or whatever that game was. Or Tsukihime. I don't even care what the game was called. And then I think at that point they realized they fucked up and they just did the rest of the show there. That's what Kiki and I kind of have a theory of, that they're like, you know what? They're not moving these people anymore because there's about to be a murder.
I think we're going to go to at least one other place.
Let's talk about Sony pissing away some goodwill. And having the audacity to waste everyone's time with this. I was pissed off watching this from home.
Yeah.
This is one part where I'm not going to be positive, people. Sorry. I was pissed off watching this garbage from home. And I would have been even more pissed off if I was there, and that's what they told me I was going to do for the next 2 hours. Yeah, they showed some neat footage from some games, like The Last of Us Part 2, and Spider-Man, which looks amazing. And the Resident Evil 2 remake based off the Resident Evil 7 engine. That's cool for Resident Evil fans. I'm happy they get this thing they've wanted forever. And the rest of that showcase was just a waste of time. It was offensively wasteful of time. It was such... I watched the Best Friends reaction to it, and Wooly said something to the effect of, like, they're just sniffing their own farts right now. They have gotten too confident in themselves that they think they can do... This is so experimentally bad, I don't think Nintendo's even done something this experimentally bad. Because while I tend to like Nintendo's E3 showcases, even the one I hated the most was never this bad.
Like, this was Xbox One release show bad. I said multiple times, are you fucking with us? Because, look...
I called you on the phone.
I know.
And said, is this fucking for real?
I know. It was surreal, because, look, I love video game music.
Me too.
I love...
the good stuff.
I love video game music done by professionals. That is part of the show. Like, if while either of the musicians have been doing their stuff, if they had been showing gameplay in the background, or they had been trying to live the music to what was going on, that would have been one thing. But they wasted 5 to 7 minutes each time before we actually got into what Sony has made an excuse of. They wanted to do deep dives into 3 or 4 games to show what was coming soon.
It would have been great if that's what they actually did.
Well, okay, they gave us a good chunk of The Last of Us. They did the other one from Sucker Punch, the Japanese...
Who cares?
Well,
I'm so mad. I'm still mad about this.
Why am I being... Well, okay. as everybody knows, I am the voice of reason.
Fuck you!
So I have to be the adult here in the room.
The adult. Get me my bib!
I didn't mind the amount of gameplay they were showing us, but they wasted so much of our time in between that could have been showing off actual fucking games.
Nintendo took a long time to show one game. The difference
Don't
is that
remind me.
what they did was interesting.
Sure.
What Sony did was garbage.
So yeah, no, Sony just kind of fucked it up.
Before the Sony show, I was thinking to myself, being positive has helped me enjoy E3. I'm probably not gonna name a worst of this year when I do the post E3 cast with Dave. And then Sony was like, hold my beer. And then delivered the worst E3 presentation I've ever seen in my fucking life.
I enjoyed the deep dive into Last of Us and the Ninja one. I could have done without Death Standing.
Oh, let's talk about how stupid that game looks.
Death Stranding.
Let's talk about how garbage that game looks. Hideo Kojima is an occasionally brilliant idiot. This guy can sometimes predict world events 10 years in advance. And then on the flip side, he starts pissing and moaning when you make fun of his shitty character Quiet, who ended up being a shitty character.
Look, Kojima very much reminds me of George Lucas of Star Wars. Great idea person. Should be allowed into a room to draw all the ideas and then hand it off to a competent person to take those ideas and do something positive with them.
During that entire look at Death Stranding, my heart rate was increasing out of anger.
I mean, it looked so fucking bad.
It looks like garbage. It looks like it plays like shit. It looks like a shitty premise. And they're trying to do shock value with actors, like with Western actors.
Yep.
It looks so terrible. This game by a man who, if Hideo Kojima was not tempered by others, his big genius games would never have done anything. The Metal Gear series would have been nothing if there weren't reasonable people around Kojima keeping him in check. And now he has free reign, and here comes the Phantom Menace. Positive note, you get to eat a baby.
Do you?
The other white meat. Oh, and I love how the thing started with a look at a baby inside a vagina. Oh yeah, real artsy there, Kojima. What quiet excuse do you have for this one? And it ends with you eating a little baby to kind of keep like your I'm okay with eating babies in the right context. I guess what I'm saying is kill babies, but make it fun. Why can't killing babies be fun anymore?
That was Sony's show. It was just a disappointing piece of shit that, other than giving us the lesbian scene with Ellie and confirming that she is the only playable character.
I'm a little disappointed by that because I really like Joel's story in the first game, and I do like Joel. But then I start to realize, he's probably still alive, given that he's mentioned. What if he's the villain?
No.
What if Ellie learns what he did at the end of the last game, and that's the conflict of this game?
No, I don't think so.
If he's the villain, holy shit, could you imagine having that guy as your enemy?
The very fact that he's the one who's setting up the patrols and lecturing people about being safe and everything else, I actually think that Ellie would have found out by this point.
Mm-hmm.
And probably wouldn't give two shits.
I don't know, she might.
It might be something that she has to fight with a little bit, but the bottom line is that the Fireflies were not going to do the slow process of actually studying and making things work. They were going for what they consider to be the 100% shot of killing her and possibly not having a cure.
Oh, I'm not... Here's the thing. You don't have to rationalize shit to me, Dave. What I'm saying is that this is a world of gray, of shades of gray. And in this world, it's possible that Joel is the enemy and he would make a fantastic villain for Ellie, is all I'm saying.
Maybe that would be a good thing. I don't want to see her and Joel have to fight each other. honestly. But I think we got Joel's story in part 1. Now it being Ellie's story with her having to grow up with this and be in this shitty world, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, you get to kill a lot of people, so.
Ooh, and I have seen some criticisms of people saying that, yeah, it looked a little bit, that didn't look like actual gameplay, that looked like, a pre-rendered scene. And I hate to say it, I think it was.
Who cares?
Well,
how many of these games shown at E3 do that exact same thing?
Oh, and I will give them shit too. It's just I'm hoping for that level of gameplay that I can pull the arrow out of somebody. And this is the thing: when people are looking at that, the thing they're bitching about is not that it's pre-rendered, but
it's pre-scripted.
But even a pre-scripted scene, I don't care about. But in the game, I'm hoping that if I shoot somebody in the head with an arrow, that I can pull that arrow out, and that it actually shows the character pull the arrow out and
use your words. Restock.
Yeah, restock works.
Reclaim it.
Restock your arrow versus just going out, pressing a button, and automatically going in there. It's little touches like that I'm hoping stay in the game.
Even if the scene is pre-scripted, it's still a cool scene. And
it was
still
awesome.
Gives you a conceptual idea of what we're going to get in The Last of Us Part 2.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Are we done with Sony?
God, I wish we were.
No, really, are we done with Sony?
Yeah, we're done with Sony.
So Nintendo is next, right?
Yep.
Started with Daemon X Machina. I had to look up the title of that one. That was out of nowhere. That first game they showed, that mecha game, looked kind of neat and ended super abruptly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a fan of mech games. We'll see. I have no idea what to think of that one. It just looked kind of neat. Speaking of mechs, we got to see another Xenoblade game, which you're probably all excited about.
Not really, because it's not actually its own game. That was the prequel expansion to Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Ah, okay. I was not aware of that.
Which I'm not done Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And them doing the expansion for the a prequel for the expansion stuff kind of bugs me.
Why's that?
Well, they tell you enough of what happens while you're playing the game, or what happened back then, that I didn't need to go back and play it. I mean, if you're doing an expansion content to a game that I'm playing, give me an expansion. If you want to do a prequel thing, make it its own game that I can choose whether to do or not. But this is part of their season pass. And it just kind of bugs me. Because it means now that after doing all of my gameplay and everything else, now you're putting me back 500 years, and I'm starting off at level 1 again with somebody. Should have been its own game.
I do have a thing against prequels, I will admit. I'm more okay with them if I know there's a sequel coming later. Other things that they showed that seemed kind of interesting. Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee. Mm-hmm. They're remakes of Gen 1 games, specifically Pokemon Yellow with a Pikachu version and Eevee version. I kind of like the idea of getting to play couch co-op Pokemon with people.
That's an interesting idea.
The capturing is like Pokemon Go, but everything else pretty much works like a Pokemon game. So we can all agree that the Eevee version's the way to go, right? Eevee is the better Pokemon, the cooler Pokemon, the cuter Pokemon. Since you can't evolve this Pikachu or Eevee, an unevolved Eevee is leagues more useful than an unevolved Pikachu. Although they both have items and sets that can make them useful even at high level.
From what I've seen, the Eevee and the Pikachu versions are simply there to hold back Pokemon. Because I've seen within the Pikachu version of you having an Eevee and being able to put it on your shoulder. You and I both know that a certain friend of ours is going to want to get the Eevee version.
Oh, of course, Kiki. We can say her name out loud because she's a big Eevee fan. As am I. I love Eevee.
I mean, Keeks will get that. If she plays it, she'll get that version. I'll probably get the Pikachu version.
Here's the thing about Pokemon, though, like, She kind of wants a version that lets you set your Pokemon and their IVs and EVs however you want, so you can make your ultimate team.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of want too. Any Pokemon game I play that doesn't do that, I play for funsies and that's it.
Oh, I know.
The Eevee version might be enough for me to play for funsies, because I like Eevee as well. So
I guess my big thing is I know your household will go Eevee, so I would go Pikachu just for trading purposes.
Sure.
Because we both know.
Why don't you just get the one you want and do what normal people do, and that's hack the game?
Because I'd probably go Pikachu anyway.
Plus, you could do internet trading, right? So,
well, if you could buy the online
or Pokemon Go as well, which you can transfer Pokemon in from Go.
Only for your park.
No, we've been over this. You're wrong. You transfer them to the Go Park, and then you go to the Go Park and capture them in the game, and then they're in the game.
I still haven't seen that actually confirmed.
It's been confirmed.
Okay.
You are so wrong about this.
Fair
I don't know
enough.
why you're still insisting on no, only for a park. No, it's not how it works. It's just like transferring from Gen 3 to Gen 4. You transferred them into a safari-like zone, and then you went and captured them.
Okay.
I guess the big game, the big game that this whole presentation was about and that it spent the majority of its time on was Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And,
yay.
I don't know. They addressed a lot of my concerns. They didn't quite address enough of them to make me really think this is a contender for a good competitive game. As a fun party fighter to play with you and Poe and Keeks, absolutely. Because all the characters are there. Pichu's back. Ice Climbers are back. Snake is back. Everyone's in. And Ridley looks amazing. I was always on the fence about Ridley being in Smash until I saw him in Smash, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm all in. I've also read about people's impressions who tried it. It's a lot more fast-paced like Melee, but it doesn't have bullshit wave dashing and other things that made Melee really muscle memory intensive. It seems like it's a really good version of Smash. And it has all these characters in it. And I'm like, yeah, that seems like a perfect Smash game to me.
I think Nintendo should have made a clean break with the GameCube controllers and not had the adapter work.
Oh yeah, I agree with that completely. Because I hate the GameCube controller and I want the GameCube controller to die. I would love to see Smash add a second attack button. So you can decouple tilts and smashes from the same one button, which is not easy and elegant. It's hard, and it hurts my thumb. There should be another attack button, and there should be an option for a dash button for D-pad users and whatnot, or arcade stick makers even, to make the game finally control as good as it possibly could. It's also very clear Sakurai has not really learned his lesson, and items are still not incorporated in a way that'll make them competitively viable, which in turn would also make them fun in a casual way. Items should really have a timer that appear on screen before they appear so you can plan for them. Smash Balls still kind of are dumb. They should have given you a super meter instead. Especially with those stupid fake Smash Balls. The most useless fucking item I could have ever imagined they added to the game. This garbage fake Smash Ball. Otherwise, Smash Bros. Ultimate looks like a blast. And I like that they gave me all this information and they talk about little changes they made and Echo Fighters and shit like that. It looks like a blast. I really like Nintendo's presentation. If they're going to take one game and deep dive, that's how I want it done, not what Sony did. A deep dive to me means let's talk about the game in depth, not let's have a shitty flute player play a shitty flute and show some unimpressive game of some Japanese samurai guy. Right. Want to stay positive.
You've already failed.
Ridley! Hey, can we talk about the fact that Ridley has murdered Mario? Mario's dead, right? Like, Mario's dead, right? You gonna play Ridley?
I'll play whoever I feel like.
Are you excited for English Marth?
I do like the fact that we're getting multiple Marths.
Well, we're getting multiple Ikes. And we're getting an English-voiced Marth, finally.
Yeah, I mean, look, I may not be high up on Smash Brothers, but I mean, the group's getting together a little bit more often than it used to, so this might become viable to actually get.
Sure. And it'll have a load of characters in it.
Yeah, the amount of characters is awesome. I'm not going to bitch on that. I kind of hope that Pichu isn't just useless Pikachu again.
Yeah, I hope not as well. I hope that there's actually, like, just make it really, really fast, is what I think they should do.
Yeah.
Make him as fast as Sonic. There's no point not doing that.
But that's really all there was to Nintendo's as well. I wanted to see some more, like, the fact that they gave us a screen last E3 for Metroid 4, I expected something for Metroid 4 this year.
I read an interview that Reggie Fils-Aime did say something about how they didn't want to show just another teaser for a game they don't have enough to show for yet.
Yeah,
and
I read that.
I do appreciate that. I hate seeing games appear in multiple E3s as if it's just a progress update. They didn't have anything to show for Metroid Prime. When they do, they can show it.
Yeah, still kind of lame. I understand the reasoning, but I was hoping that we'd be further along on that. Also, I was kind of hoping for an announcement of another Link.
Another Zelda game?
Yeah.
I mean, Nintendo doesn't do frequent Zelda games. We all know that. There was that one game, Tunic, in the Xbox showcase.
Oh,
that kind of overhead isometric one that, honestly, I'd love to see a Zelda game in that style.
Again.
What was your top 3 presentations and the worst presentation?
Well, the good was Digital Devolver /E3.
Devolver Digital.
The bad would be the PC gaming show and probably Ubisoft. And the ugly was simply Sony.
My best show is Devolver Digital. Very close second would be my Xbox E3. Very close third would be Nintendo E3. And I wasn't going to pick a last one, but Sony they just had to really step up what a terrible E3 presentation could be. And I got to give that to Sony.
Mm-hmm.
Game of the show. I'll start this one.
Sure.
For me, it would have to be some combination of Metal Wolf Chaos XD and Devil May Cry 5. Just because they were so unexpected and so hyped and so beloved. And it's great to see them both finally appear. I couldn't pick one or the other, so...
Game that I'm most pumped for would be Doom Eternal.
Doom Eternal, absolutely.
Worst game of the show.
Worst game of the show, fuck. Command and Conquer Rivals.
Followed very closely by Death Stranding.
Yeah, let me rephrase. Death Stranding followed very closely by Command and Conquer Rivals.
Nope.
Fuck Death Stranding.
No. Fuck Command and Conquer. This is another bullshit thing like they did to Dungeon Keeper. Fuck EA and their mobile games.
I think I might get 5 minutes of fun out of Command and Conquer Rivals. I don't think I'd get 5 seconds of fun out of Death Stranding.
Your logic is impeccable, but still. Fuck EA.
Folks, what did you think of E3? We didn't get any voicemails in time for this show, but if you have voicemails and feedback, we can always address them in the next episode. We can be found at animerave.xyz. That's where you can find this podcast. And also Carl's Name Anime Rave, the best anime review reaction show on the internet. Go there, talk to us, or not. Enjoy video games. Dave, give the people a final thought to put their minds at ease.
Fuck Nazis.
Good final thought.